Excuse me, Cindy, did you have a chance to look at that invoice?
So I'll check in with them in the morning.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Westerly Public Schools School Building Subcommittee meeting for Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. The time is 6:02. Members present are Kristen Federico, Chris Lund, Chris Duhamel, Cindy Kirchhoff, Mike Ober, Mark Arceau, Mark McKinnon, and myself, Justin Hopkins. Did I miss? I think I got everybody there. We also have our guests, our consultants, Deb Reading from Downs, Ashley Prester from DBVW, Julie McFadden from TSKP. First order of business is approval of meeting minutes. You should have all received minutes from our February 28th meeting. Also present, Dan Lathrop. Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention. Okay. Thank you. Next order of business is public comment. We do not have any members of the public in attendance, so we'll move on to approval of invoices. And I believe as part of Down's update, we have two invoices.
We have two invoices, yes, we do. Would you like me to go through them, Justin?
I'll list them out, and then if any members have any questions. The first is from TSKP Studio, invoice number 230601-8, dated March 4th, in the amount of $56,200, which brings the design development percentage completion to 90%. Are there any questions about this invoice? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Next invoice is from Collier's Project Leaders, invoice 0000928704, dated February 29th, Leap Day 2024, in the amount of $3,755, which is combined services of Springbrook. Well, this is actually for Springbrook Elementary School. And percent complete in the overall contract, 10%, which more or less tracks with where we are in that project. Are there any questions for Downs, or I believe Ashley? Well,
Is that commissioning?
this is the commissioning agent. Yes.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, next item on the agenda, owner's project manager / architect update. So Deb,
Certainly. I think we're gonna start tonight with State Street.
Okay.
Okay, with you, because, yeah, because we still have a pretty quick, presentation, you right? Unless you wanna sit through.
I'm fine, I can do that too. Ta-da, okay. Mostly have some updates on progress here. Recent activity, early March, we attended the district's crisis response team meeting. The 5th, we submitted our preliminary plan submission to the planning board. March 7th, we met with Fire Chief Mackey and the building official Dave Murphy, and we've walked them through the project again. They had a few questions, easily resolvable. March 8th, a meeting with the executive team to review the RIDE budget that we're submitting. March 12th, we got notified that our planning submission was complete, and so we're slated for the April 16th planning board meeting. So that was good news. And then we had a second for security meeting just this morning. And then we've got a lot of work coming up, so we're going to be busy. As I told you, things are moving fast at this point. Next week, we're waiting to hear. We've got 2 dates that we're hoping to meet with Dr. De Silva at RIDE SBA for our DD phase review. Next week, on Wednesday, March 20th, we're issuing the 60% construction document set for cost estimating. The next SBS meeting, we'd like to come back here and just kind of run you through our Northeast CHIPS strategies and status, give you an opportunity to ask us any questions on that. We've got several to be determined meetings, a senior center meeting that we're hoping to probably schedule in the next week or a couple of weeks probably. Again, to be nice neighbors and kind of orient them to the project and kind of some of the benefits we think that they'll get from the project. We'll have another security review meeting. We'll start a second round of furniture layout meetings. We finished kind of the first round of those meetings with Audrey and her staff. Deb is going to be setting up a meeting with Eileen here at Westerly to start getting ahead of the ball and get organized for when these documents are going to go out to bid. And then the April 10th SBS meeting will be the critical one, which will be here with that cost estimate and potentially VE selection at that point, preparing to go out to bid. April 16th, like I said, is the planning board public hearing. And then April 19th, we issue kind of basically a bid set, 100% construction documents. Any questions on fast moving train?
What to do?
So overall, the schedule is we're here in early March. Just to give you kind of a visual of what I just said, but the land use approvals process is a two-part. We had submitted our application to the Department of Environmental Management. They are in the middle of their 45 to 60 day review period. We're having our consultants kind of check in with them, just hoping that that doesn't slip. They get us comments, we have to respond right away, and then they could take another 30 days or 40 days for their comments. So we want to kind of stay on top of that. And then, like I said, we're now slated for the April 16th planning board. So that review and approval process, both of those, as you see, kind of hit out here, and we're already kind of in the middle of bidding for that, those comments. So if there are things we have to adjust in the plans, we'll be issuing addendums during the bid. Let's see, anything else here? Yes, the 60% set, the cost estimating, coming back to you on the 17th with that, issuing the bid documents. Our ride review will probably happen simultaneously while we're going out to bid, but eventually we'll get, which I guess is allowed, and get their approval during the bid as well. So the bidding piece of it is still, like I said, probably needs to be reviewed and refined with Eileen, but that's the general scenario there to get a contract by June 30th. So.
Justin, have you heard anything about extending that date for June 30th?
I don't think it's going to happen. You mean the
June 30th deadline
for reimbursement?
Work
Yeah.
contracting.
Yeah. So I mean, this puts us up to it, but it's manageable. I mean, there's
need to plan ahead so that the dominoes fall the way they're supposed to.
My only advice, Ashley, did you have success with going through procurement, making sure that the general conditions or the invitation to bid? And
That went very smoothly. We provided an invitation to bid with all the information. Eileen just copied it over basically.
Okay.
And then we went with standard AIA 101 and 201 documents.
so
Yeah.
I would just advise making sure that she has that information so that it can be reviewed. And I think the kicker is that we wouldn't be deviating from what we've already put out. So
Right. Including her early, I found this key. So she can plan, including, right, so we'll try to get her there in the next week or two.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that'd be great. And then I just wanted to give you just a little glimpse at some of the, this morning. We met with Dr. Garceau, and Audrey, and Mark, and actually Mike. Went through, again, some of the security principles, just looking at a variety of things. I'm just going to give you a quick overview where we've got some laminated glazing at the front of the school. Some of the big windows into the classrooms. Again, this is to prevent entrance into the school by breaking the glazing. Or we have some operable windows just for some fresh air, but they're the smaller, narrow windows so that we, again, discourage anybody being able to break into the school. We went through kind of the scenario of how people come to the main entrance and how that protocol goes, or how it goes. Again, where we have natural viewing angles from the building to the approach. Just kind of the process here of intercom and transaction window. The feedback was that they need kind of a little package type transaction window because parents coming with, I guess, lunches that they forgot and that kind of thing, they can do it there and not even come all the way into the school. And we talked about access control, some type of fob access. We're going to get some pricing to have some options for you guys to look at because there are some newer kind of wireless systems out there as well. Talked about duress buttons versus lockdown buttons and where those might be located. We haven't totally confirmed that, but we kind of talked through where we thought that made sense for these two different types. Again, just how the first responders, how they approach the building, the Knox box locations have been determined, numbering of the classroom windows, numbering of the doors around the facility as well. And I found this product, one of the common things that has always been kind of a problem with the classroom doors. You have a vision light in it. Our doors are planning to have these narrow vision lights that allows the principal to walk around, glance into the classroom, make sure everything's going okay. But when you do have a situation, you want to not have anybody be able to see what's going on in the classroom. And what I've often seen is what happens after we walk away from the project is the teachers paper over it, or they hang some sort of vertical blind thing that's always clanking and, a mess on the door. So this is a product. I saw it at a school that I toured recently. It sits just flush against the door. It's attached to the door. And then you just flip it over and it magnetically attaches kind of to the thing. So it's quick and easy, uniform, and it's, a nice feature. I'm going to order one and maybe try to get one here so you can take a look at it. And that was it.
Does it come in different
What's
colors?
that?
Does it come in different colors?
I don't know.
I love that you asked that, not me.
Oh.
I know my customers would be like,
Okay.
your blinds
Hi.
would be nice.
Can you just tell me, what's the difference between the duress button or the lockdown button?
Yeah, so duress is more internal to the school. So you might say put one in your conference room, like under the table.
Yeah.
And if, a conversation with a parent starting to get out of hand, the teacher can just click the button and alert the front office, okay, come and check on me, something's amiss. The lockdown button automatically sends a signal to your first responders in the city. It's we've got an intruder, there's something dire here. So it's two levels of
And
response.
are you saying we have both or we're not?
Both.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so we discussed it, locations for both types. Yeah.
How about the classroom door hardware itself? Do we have one of those, either push button or at least thumb turn from the inside that would allow us to,
I honestly not sure, because I know we're following what standards you've got. So do you know, Mark, what?
Storeroom function.
What is it?
Storeroom function.
Okay, but that's not what we have right now.
at State Street. We have to go in the hallway and lock the door.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we have, well, right now we have these little things that are helping us with that, but.
So when the door is shut, it's locked. Correct.
But it's not locked to go out or no?
Yes, it always allows egress out. That's required by fire code. But it's always locked. From
So
the
how do you-
exterior.
So how does that work with, I just know with elementary, that's why we ended up with those little things on the door.
We can go to the bathroom. Yes,
Correct.
we did talk about that.
Not just the bathroom, I mean, it's constant.
Yeah.
Reading specialist, math specialist, like speech, OT is a revolving door.
Yeah. So we did talk about a lot of different options, a lot of different price points, which is why we want to come back with you, because, I mean, you could have your card fob readers at every classroom door. That's very expensive, and it's hardwired, and
And you
it's,
wouldn't
you
get
know, it's, we did also talk about the wireless system might be a little less expensive, even maybe less expensive. It's just a keypad system that's local to each door, and, you know, the kids would have to punch in a code to come back in. So,
I guess what I'm just talking about is, and I don't want to trip any of the standards that are already in place, but there's the old concept of a classroom function, classroom lock set function, is that it's keyed, locked, or unlocked from the outside and always allows free passage from the inside out. So if a student or a teacher gets locked in a room, they can always get out, but as soon as the door closes, it stays shut. And the way that these were conventionally done is in the morning, the custodian goes around and unlocks all of the classrooms, then the building's open. The teacher would have a key in their desk that in the event of a lockdown, they'd have to go outside, key the door shut, and then do it. That presents a risk in a security environment. So that's why I was just asking. There are some districts that have like a push button. It's a mortise lock, so the push button throws the deadbolt, still allows that classroom function to allow free passage out of the room. But for that moment, the door is locked and it has an indicator on it that says it's locked. This is kind of like a bathroom function, you know, bathroom in use, etc., but it's only for the classroom. So I guess that's what my question was. So, I don't know. Does that sound like it aligns with what WPS does, or?
It's not. We've gone round and round, and the direction I was given was storeroom function, and we've set that out to put our bids out there. And
so in all the classrooms right now in the elementary schools, when the door is closed, it's completely locked from the outside. So the only way people can come in is if the teacher walks over and opens it.
we have different scenarios in different schools right now.
I know, but the future state is the only way kids can get in is if the teacher walks over to the door and opens it.
correct.
Or a kid does.
Or a kid does.
Or it's left open with the prop or the
That's
magnetic
what's gonna
strips.
happen.
Because then
So
everyone's
it's
just
gonna
gonna
happen.
leave it
That's
open.
what's gonna happen. It's extremely, one year when it all, like when we started doing lockdowns all the time and it started to be a safety issue, obviously, to have that locked or unlocked, we did like at our school, like a tally. We had it like on our badge, like how many times do we have to stop to,
Right.
and it
Interrupting.
was extremely disruptive to teaching and learning, which is why we got those little, so with I don't really know what you mean when you say storeroom. I'm not sure what that.
You put your key in from the outside,
Mhm.
you turn it 180 degrees, the door is unlocked. Once you put your key back, the door is back to that lock position. You cannot unlock it with a key.
You cannot stay on.
Always unlocked.
Right, got it, okay.
Always unlocked on the inside.
Correct.
And
Always
is there
unlocked.
any technology? Like, I mean, I know ours is not technology right now, it's just this, right now, ours is locked. At State Street, our doors are always locked, but we have this little latch that goes, when it's out, the door will close, just not all the way to lock, like latch the lock, so kids can go in and out. But and so in an emergency, you just pull that back and pull it and it's locked. And so that works, but I don't know that that's the same at every building.
They're doing that.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, most elementary schools are doing that.
So that there is an option for that for the doors we're looking at.
That is the very basic function. We are exploring better options.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess, is that a device, kind of an aftermarket device that they're putting on?
It's literally like a little
I
latch,
haven't heard.
but it works.
Yeah,
It works.
yeah.
Yeah, the aftermarket, there's an industry of aftermarket devices. There's the magnets that are on the door frame
Essentially what this is.
that.
We have those
basically-
magnets and
I
they
think you
fell
guys have that. don't
every
you?
time.
The elementary school, we have the thumb,
Yeah.
the single thumb turn.
Okay, well, maybe we can follow up on
Yeah.
that. I'd like to understand
Yeah.
where that requirement is coming from.
But
Because
then
I think I'm convinced that per code, the classroom doors need to be self-closing. So if you were propping them open, that's a violation of the fire
Correct.
code. So that's,
That's where we
Right
go
now,
back
we're
and
not.
forth with the fire chief.
Yeah,
We did get a clearance to have that device in the section.
Right. Because State Street, they're not self-closing.
no, there's a lot of things that stay
And then I
straight.
get it, it's 1,000-year-old, I understand. They did what they could with the 1,000-year-old doors.
and then should I bring this up now?
Certainly.
Oh, okay, so, one of the things that we have to complete before that April 16th planning board meeting is, a hydraulic, modeling of, how this project will impact the, overall water system. So as the town of Westerly contracts with C&E Engineering, that's who has the model of your hydraulic system in the city. And so then they would analyze how this project would impact that. So we have a proposal from C&E Engineering via Max Sposato from Department of Public Works for them to conduct this exercise. So that's a $5,400 proposal. And looking
Right, it's just received, so it's not an action item on the agenda, but just wanted to bring it up, informational
So,
improvement.
when
so we're replacing a school that has,
no sprinklers with one that does.
okay,
Yes.
that's.
But how much of a load of sprinklers?
I know, it's yeah.
It's not a big demand.
I mean, I could talk to the engineers to ask just, yes, is that a big issue? But then I guess we would have to ask the planning board to not require us to have this study done. Because that's one of the checklist
The water
items.
system, not necessarily the building.
Correct. That's the effect on the water
There's a school
system.
there now.
Yeah.
I would ask for a relief on that.
Okay, the town planner is out until Tuesday. so-
Okay.
But, but my presumption is that you're looking for approval from the subcommittee to move that along. So I think we can condition an approval
Okay,
if required.
condition and approval. And we could look into it further though before needing to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to bring a motion.
Yeah, this is our own town's consultant that has provided the proposal. We're being told by our own town that this is a requirement. We will make an effort to seek relief from it, but in the event that relief is not granted, I think we need to give TSKP the tool, the authorization to move it forward. So does anybody have an issue with that?
This is essentially just, what's it gonna do, the water pressure to move the school back 30 feet? And
And then sprinklers.
that's sprinklers.
Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Replacing one with the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you,
There's no risk on the one part of it.
But it's on the checklist
yeah.
from the planning department.
Yeah.
It's
The new
just-
Has anyone talked to Nancy on it, just to ask if we could get it?
No.
I haven't.
Okay.
Incredibly busy, man.
Is she-
I'll get in touch with her after she's back next week.
Yeah, I just didn't know that,
Yeah.
sometimes she's pretty reasonable.
Oh, yeah.
She's very reasonable.
Oh, yeah. She did waive us some other requirements, but yeah, that wasn't one of them, so.
I'd say it's a planning board waiver.
Been tough.
I have to recuse
Yeah.
from it, but I think I just don't want to.
$500 in FFE that you can use.
Okay.
Can we make a motion to approve condition that we can't get a waiver?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Make a motion to approve condition we can't get a waiver from either the planning department or the planning board.
second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Okay, we can move on to Dunn's Corner and Springbrook. And Ashley has,
Well, I'm gonna start with the roof, if that's okay, because that's what's in my presentation. Yep. Okay. So where are we at? Main project bid period ends on 3/15. We wanna, I guess we bring it up, we issued the addendum.
yes,
The addendum has been issued to extend it for 2 weeks. We are currently seeing some input from bidders that they would like more time,
for the project.
both
Well, you know, for the bid.
for the bid and the project. So that's what we are currently pursuing right now. So we have a planning board meeting next Tuesday on the 19th. We found out that a RIDE meeting for the roof is not required. We just had to submit, so I put submit today. So Dr. De Silva will have his chance to review that at his leisure, and any comments can come back. I'm coming before you today with the estimate and a solution to get us out to bid on Monday. So we're looking for, when we're all done with this, we're looking for approval to go to bid for Monday. Eileen has already been engaged. She's just waiting on some final dates from me, a couple things. And the roof bid will be 3 weeks. That actually is incorrect. It should be 4/8 because we need to have a full 3 weeks. So it goes from the Friday to the Monday for that work, and that will be in the documents that way. So we received the estimate on March 1st. It came in at $2.6 million. With soft cost, the projected total was 2.868. The project budget set forth by the town is 1.978. So we had an $890,000 bust to start. The original estimate, I don't have it on the sheet here, came in around 3.2, and we cut scope that wasn't required. They had hazmat carried in there. They had a bunch of other scope in there that we didn't need because Springbrook was built in '95. We had a couple alternates. One was to replace gutters. That was an ad for 18.7, and change the standing seam. We talked to you last time about going down to asphalt. That only gets us a little more than halfway there. So what we're proposing, we ran the numbers. There's a couple different value engineering options. One is that we could look at changing the membrane roof that was voted on proprietary from built up to TPO. We're not recommending that because it was only $2 a square foot from our estimator. Really doesn't make sense to go away from the town standards for that amount of money. What we did identify was we could actually identify all the sloped roofs as an ad alternate. We have information from some roofing companies that have estimated this, or roofing manufacturer that actually estimated this, that feels our numbers are high right now. So we're hoping that they are correct and that our estimator is too high. But what this does is by removing the sloped roofs from base bid, which would be the gym, the admin, and the little roof over the kindergarten area, we can get the design contingency, general conditions, OH&P, and all that stuff down so that we can actually be below budget and show that we're on budget and be able to go to bid legally for RIDE. What we're hoping is that we're going to see cost savings and that the shingled roof, we have two alternates, one for the standing seam roof and one for the shingled roof. we're hoping that you'll see enough bid savings that you'll be able to put the shingle roof back in, and this whole messy estimate is behind us, and that we have the full project as expected.
Are the sloped roofs any better off right now than the other, or?
They're not actively leaking, let me put it that way. They are equally overdue, but yes, they are not actively leaking.
They're original to the building.
Everything is original to the building.
Yeah, that's,
So they're
that's old
30,
for us.
they're 30 years.
Yeah, 29. So, this is the only way we can get this project out to bid right now. And we feel it gives you the option to be able to still add the asphalt roofs back in and get it out the door. Because we want to hit this summer, with the work. It's got to get done in that 8-week window.
Mhm.
So,
If we don't end up with it, could it be something that ends up, something that could be done later?
Yes.
yeah, we already have the documents. You just,
Yeah, I'd say let's
Yeah,
get it
I
out.
think so too.
Is it gonna be one alternate for all the slope roofs, or would you do an alternate for each component?
I have an alternate for all of the three roofs, for standing seam and an alternate for all asphalt.
Okay, but you didn't break it up like an alternate for one?
I didn't want to go starting to have 6 or 7 different alternates.
Right.
So, and we still have the alternate in there for replacement of the downspouts and the gutters as well. So what I'm looking for is approval to take this approach where a base bed will be the flat roofs, with the garland, and with the alternates for the sloped roofs.
Motion to approve?
Okay, motion's been made, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Now, we have, in a meeting, we had some back and forth a little bit regarding your estimate, just for everybody's comfort level. I think you're going to see some bid day savings. And I've shared some recent results, different market, but the Shore of Connecticut, I recently bid a project that was considerably larger, and all 8 bids for the roofing came in under this number. So I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really hope that's the case.
We were under 1.9 for a 55,000 square foot TPO roof. There's a couple of familiar ones. Yeah. We won't give them any credit in this meeting. But.
Because the Garland roof is proprietary, we've asked Garland to drum up business on both projects. So both the Duns and Springbrook project as well as this one. They're aware of it. It's out there. Okay, well, thank you for that. Should I bring up the email I got this afternoon? It's not off the press?
If you'd like to, sure.
Okay. I received an email from the Governor's Commission on Disability about 2 hours before this meeting that stated that they no longer recognize engineered wood fiber for playgrounds as an accessible surface for playgrounds.
Wood chips? Is that what that
Well, it's better than wood chips. They're specially engineered to be softer, and they run it through the shredder a couple times. But yes, essentially wood chips. Their issue with that is that they don't see maintenance done on these things to keep divots from happening, from slopes to being compliant, for compaction to be proper. However, we have not seen any change in the code or laws in both federal or state that tells us that engineered wood fiber is not an acceptable surface. So what I've written a letter, and I copied the chairman, and Dr. Garceau got it, and Downs got it. And I've asked them if they would consider a letter from the school department saying that they certify that they will maintain it, and basically quell their concern that there's no maintenance done on these things. So we cannot, I explained to the Governor's Commission that we cannot afford other options, including synthetic turf or rubberized flooring. It's way out of our price range. And the letter I got from them in January actually approved the engineered wood fiber. So that's where we're at, trying to be as political as possible.
How much more is the rubberized?
$12 to $15 a square foot versus $1 to $2 a square foot.
Wow.
So it's a significant,
That's difference.
yeah.
Much nicer though.
And we have
Maybe
the
they wanna
same
send us
issue.
some money.
And we did copy TSKP on it because it would affect State Street as well. So hopefully, we'll see some response from that, department in the next month or so. And, hopefully it doesn't hold up anything on our permit. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about right now, is that we would go for permit in April, with a contractor, and when the local, AHJ says, hey, do you have any comment, they bring that up. So, hopefully we don't get to that point, but I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of it. It could be a small speed bump.
Is there, do we have any alternates for, Porter Place or?
No, it was never, it was something that we identified in schematic design that we just aligned, because remember, we were really high in schematic and we took a lot of stuff out. And that's where we got rid of that material.
Right, I don't see this frankly as an issue. We have an approval. And if we need to take it up with the two-person staff at the Rhode Island Governor's Commission on Disabilities, we can.
Yeah, I think that would be the next step, is probably, get someone involved to write a letter.
Was it Denise that?
No, it was the, Victoria.
They referenced a Massachusetts standard, not a Rhode
Correct.
Island one.
That was, they said they consulted a Massachusetts firm that it handles ADA, and I went to their site and then cited on their site where engineered wood fiber was allowed. So,
And we'll get the engineered wood fiber lobby to
There you
look
go.
at this, to say, look at what the state's doing to.
You got a big lobby in that?
I don't know. Sneaky Pete.
The wood lobby, yeah.
So, that's all I have to report right now.
Great. And just to clarify, on our agenda, we do have an item on there for a special meeting for Monday, which we no longer
We
need
do not need,
since we extended the bid. So
correct,
that was going to be to review
the bids.
the results or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And so now we have the bids due on March 28th.
Does it look like we're gonna have enough bids on March 20th?
So
Yeah.
I'll take this up here. So the concern is that with the bids due this Friday, based on some feedback, and I know Downs and DBW have been talking to a lot of contractors, that we're concerned that we're not going to get any bids whatsoever for the project due to our little corner of Rhode Island, due to the other ongoing work that's already on the books throughout the state for the summer. And due to the schedule of doing all of the interior renovations during this summer, where the additions were extending out to the end of the calendar year, right?
Correct.
So the feedback, and I've personally called a couple of contractors as well, just to understand what their read on it is. I think the concern is that if you allow contractors to use both, to mobilize this summer and start on the addition work, and maybe have the opportunity to stage the renovations in two parts, in 2 summers, but likely focusing heavily on the second summer of 2025, we would have that is that is more appetizing to a contractor. So understanding that this literally came up today because we got some additional, Joe DeSanti got some additional feedback. I asked Joe and Downs and DBW to simply extend the bid date by 2 weeks, just so that we could have this conversation tonight. Because basically, if we extended it tomorrow, it's too short a notice. So the idea is that it will likely be extended out further. However, it will give us the opportunity to stay within the current bid, that the current open bid, and issue additional directives to the contractors regarding schedule and sequencing. So the trade-off is that we would be at risk of opening a bid that didn't have any bidders and then going back out to bid publicly. And that's not always a great look when you're rebidding the exact same project after you.
The perception would be that we didn't change anything, just put it back out, when in reality we are changing it.
So, not ideal, but from what I've seen, and with the contractors that I've spoken with, I believe we would be able to have a higher volume of bidders. So
From 0 to.
yes, yes, at least 100% more.
From the ones I've spoken to as well, it'll be more palatable. Nobody wants to sign on and fail. And
Will bids be more competitive because you give them more time, or
I think they will.
cheaper prices?
I think they
what
will.
I'm
You know, we have a number for escalation, but I don't think we'll see that much of it because people can go ahead and purchase now. They can go ahead and contract now. So we're not holding up that process. It's not as if we can see a bid next year. We're going to bid now. So, there could be some things to consider. We've been talking about it, but.
And the sequencing and phasing of the project will have to change with the new scope. What this allows us to do is when we get the bids in, is to allow the contractors to sequence it based on their staffing needs and their availability a little bit more. We're still expecting some work done in the summer. If their flooring guys available, maybe get some floors replaced. We are identifying a phase for, should they want to do it, second shift work in the buildings to run sprinkler pipe. That's another way to run these school projects through the winter, is to allow them to come into the building at 4 o'clock and work till 11.
Right, we'll make it well known that we'll be as accommodating as possible to make this project as attractive as possible to as many bidders that we can.
And as cost effective
As
as possible.
possible. Right, so, it'll be interesting, but I think it's a good turnaround on a bad situation right now, but I think this will be a good turnaround.
Is there a heads up to the principals?
Yeah, we're just
So-
getting.
No, I'm just, that might be, not that there's any choice, just.
The diagrams that I provided to you are going to be honestly a little bit simpler because the scope will be a little bit more to be determined based on the contractor. But I will do a new set of diagrams, and I can bring that to the next committee meeting so you guys know what the impact is by extending it to 25.
I don't think that's too negative or disappointing.
No, what would be disappointing is not having anybody to work on. Yeah.
In addition to those factors you listed, Justin, our location where we are, the fact that these guys have got so much work out there, is the scope of this project part of that as well? Because
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, a Providence company that already has work in Providence or Warwick or Cranston isn't necessarily gonna go fishing in South County when their plates are full, in Providence County. And it's not one of those projects that is large enough scope-wise that would leverage the needle.
It's kind of like the medium size, it's the mama bear ball. And the bigger companies are like, the smaller companies, they're trying to schedule their bonding capacity and figure out which ones are gonna be the most equitable for them.
Sure.
So and all of them though are just either full up on summer slammers or they just survived last year's summer slammers and they're a little weary to get too many of them on their plate. So this almost doesn't even become a summer slammer anymore.
It's
Phased.
a phased project. There's still 2 summers with a lot of work, but it does extend the time frame for getting electric gear, rooftop units, maybe the part of the septic system. There are things that are long lead items that we can now, that they can work a lot longer on those things.
Right. They can find good subcontractors, they can find staff to manage the project.
Yeah.
So it should make for a better project, all in all.
And the idea is that we're still going to be submitting as soon as I update the documents, I'm going to be sending it to the fire and building officials. That we've already met with them and gone through the process, but this is going to be their advanced review copy prior to the submission through the portal. That way it expedites the permit process. We'll be doing a similar thing on the roof project. We'll probably be sending that in next week as well. Just so they have time to look at it and they can act quickly on the permit.
And what do we think about the impact on pricing for that second summer for materials?
There are,
The escalations have leveled off.
well, our estimator still recommended escalation. There's different opinions on that. As you've seen, our estimator is very conservative. But there is escalation involved with that as well. And to be completely transparent up front, the CA time is extending from a year to 16 or 17 months at that point. So I have looked at the architectural fee, and I don't believe we have to charge you any additional time. I think we have enough time to absorb it, but I don't know about my engineers specifically, so I might have to pass some of that forward to the committee. So there might be some A&E fees that come up out of this.
So
How about our fees? Do we get more money?
Your per diem gets increased.
So we'll be scheduling another round of contractor walkthroughs.
Yes,
Actually,
that'll be in 2 weeks. We're not doing next week, we're gonna do the week after.
Right.
So with an addendum with the new schedule and the new contractor walkthrough, new question period. And then have that back to you guys.
but the contractors I did talk to were all asking about State Street, so I think we're gonna have a good turnout on that.
Well, it's interesting, as I was looking at Julia's timeline, and based on the one that I've got in a napkin sketch, we would be finishing right as you would be starting.
Huh?
So, these guys can look at probably all 3 of them in one big chunk.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
I know all this good news that you keep, you kept bringing to us. was
I used to bring all the
at
good
some
news.
point.
Now I don't bring good news anymore.
We're gonna have to reassess our rankings.
I have to feel the pain somewhere now.
It's going like this, that's
Take
all.
my
It's
position
going
now.
like this.
Pretty soon we'll be bringing change orders and recs and everything else from construction.
Okay, anything else, Deb, on your list?
No, we're good, Thank you, Justin.
So the next item on the agenda is capital projects update.
Yes. What we're trying to get underway for this upcoming summer, we've got the BMS system continuing, ongoing for the high school, middle school. The security vestibules have, the bid has been awarded. They're scheduled for the summer. They're eager to get going prior to, so we're gonna work on their schedule and maybe we can get some stuff done over April break. The ESSER 3 project has been awarded. You guys learned that the last meeting. We are also looking to pave over the dirt lot at the middle school over the summer. We have our door hardware project for the high school buildings and the middle school as an alternate. That will be going out to bid hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I'm still waiting to get back some survey results from the middle school. The gym floor at the high school is looking to get refinished. I just awarded that bid. In that is an alternate for a resurfacing of the Babcock gym as well. So both of these gyms will get a facelift over the summer. Also in the high school, the gym locker rooms are continuing to progress. I know that's probably been a long saga, but I think we're nearing a finish line. I've got some designs. We're just working through the budget and making sure we have everything and we're not pricing this thing out too high that we can't afford it. Also coming up probably over April break is window balances are getting repaired over at the middle school. We're still phasing that out incrementally and making sure we get that whole building taken care of. Springbrook roof is coming this summer. Some of the ones that have been identified that we had some savings off of capital projects in the years past. We're going to put a backflow here at Babcock. The seal and stripe will continue. We did Babcock in the middle school last summer. We will do the student and teacher lot at the high school this summer. And we will continue to do the exterior painting at the middle school.
Great. Any questions for Mark? A lot of work going on. That's good. Okay, next item on the agenda is next steps. So there is a planning board meeting next week that Ashley is going to be. This was originally, it looked like we were going to get you out of having to present.
That's what I understood, but then we had to have a presentation. It's all civil. I'm there just to answer any building questions or general project questions.
Yeah, so I don't think that we need really any representation from the district there.
But you do at the April one, correct?
Yes. Okay, so I'll have to continue to recuse from those on the planning board, but then hopefully they'll go easy on you guys. And the combination senior center / neighbor meeting, that's something that's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that members would like to address for next steps, et cetera? There's, a lot of action happening in the next few months here, including we need to develop a communication strategy for the district to communicate to parents and part of these sequencing diagrams, et cetera.
I actually do have a question. It just popped in my head and I haven't brought it up in the past, is as we move into construction, I'd like to see if the committee can have a discussion about possibly, for lack of a better word, deputizing the chairman and maybe a couple individuals to approve change orders up to a certain amount for the smoothness of construction. That way we don't have to come before you and hold change orders for every single thing. What that amount is could be determined by this group.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't we put that on? We'll put that on the agenda at an upcoming meeting.
The DEM permitting for State Street, if that gets delayed, does that really create a burden for the?
Yeah, because we're kind of scheduling, we're going to be out to bid when we're kind of wrapping up all of these approvals, so.
They're very backed up, so I would.
We had a pre-meeting with them.
Okay.
This was months ago, and then we just ended up being able to design it without being in the encroachment area.
Okay.
So that simplifies it. Basically, there's not really anything for them to review. And when we had contacted them again, did they want another meeting? They said, no, just go ahead and submit. And so we're hoping and anticipating that, but yeah, it just depends upon if our gets to the bottom of a pile of this many things that
which is why I'm keeping us to kind of keep checking in with them.
No, that's very helpful or prudent to do. I would also ask Representative Azanaro to track this with the director, Terry Gray, because there's so much at stake.
Yeah.
Have you heard that they're backed up right now? Because we have
Yeah.
ours in too, we had about a month earlier than you, and we haven't heard anything yet either.
Well, initially you were gonna encroach on the wetland buffers, so you've taken that out.
Yeah.
So that should speed it up. But I work with DEM permitting all the time, and it's painful. But I would ask Representative Azanaro.
Okay, anything else from members on next steps? Anything you'd like to see, anything that we're not addressing that you want to see on a future agenda? Okay. There is not going to be any public comment, so the next item on the agenda is adjournment. Would anybody like to make a
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No.